Viral images and posts circulating on social media are making a lot of serious claims against e-shopping home retailer Wayfair. The claims that the company has ties to human trafficking. To talk more about it is our foreign affairs expert Lisa Daftari, joining me once again from Los Angeles. Lisa, any truth to these conspiracy theories involving Wayfair and human trafficking?
Well, let's talk about what's out there. Wayfair has come out and categorically denied all of this, calling them conspiracy theories, saying that the company has been unfairly targeted with these rumors circulating online. How did this all begin? This started from a post on Reddit that came across basic cabinets, and if you look at them, how this does kind of it is a red flag of some sort, because it is a very basic cabinet and the price tags range from $10,000 to $15,000, and the names of the products are women's names, girls' names. So this started this kind of a question mark, on the Reddit platform, which is kind of like a news platform for very, very newsy type people who are asking questions, and there are there's a lot of good information on there. There's a lot of false information on there. So, this caught a lot of attention because, as you know, Wayfair is a huge company. Most people order, and especially right now with everyone being home with COVID, it's been doing tremendously in terms of profits. There was also a rumor that its CEO, Niraj Shah, stepped down as a result of these allegations. But again, if you look at the items that are for sale, the price tag does not match the product. So, it begs the question, what are these products? And I also may add that an anonymous an employee who left the company since these allegations came out and said, I anonymously want to say that there was these privileged clients that would call, and they would have to be routed to the privilege section, and we had no idea who they were, what they were buying, but we knew that there was this part of the company. Now, again, these are alleged, these are just anonymously posted. We can't source this to anybody. We cannot confirm this. And again, the company is denying all of this, but the news is circulating, and a lot of people are asking a lot of questions to Wayfair.
Is anybody investigating Wayfair right now, however? Any government agencies?
I think with questions like this, I think, a lot of this comes up across the board. There are a lot of questions right now regarding child trafficking, sex trafficking, in light of the recent arrest of Ms. Maxwell, who was the confidant to Epstein. And I think, this will bring up, it's unfortunate that this comes up in waves. Let's look at the Me Too movement, for example. When one case came up, a lot of other cases sprung up. So now, because now the trend is child sex trafficking, and a lot of investigations will come up as a result of this. A lot of allegations will come up as a result of this. But I do hope that whatever happens, that there are true investigations and there are answers to these very important questions.
Lisa, 21 sailors and civilians were hospitalized following an explosion on a naval ship in San Diego. Are we talking about some terrorism here? Possibly domestic terrorism?
A lot of questions today as this news broke over the weekend. I think that, everyone's first reaction is, was this arson? Was this a terrorist attack? Was this, domestic attack? A lot of questions. This ship usually has 1,000 people on board. In this case, it was 160 or so. There were 2 ships nearby that have since been moved from the area so that it does not spread. And those who were rushed to the hospital, is minor injuries, including smoke inhalation. But again, a lot of questions. Why would this happen? Now, I read a separate report that stated that there were some recent, maintenance and renovation services that were being performed on the ship. If this is any connection to that, that has not been confirmed yet, but the investigations are ongoing, and we're very upset to hear this. This is, it's like a domestic attack when something like this happens to people who are serving in our military forces.
The COVID-19 pandemic is not going away anytime soon, and the state of Florida set a new record with 15,299 COVID-19 cases in 24 hours.
Yes, this is a tremendous number, and for a state that basically patted itself on the back for having such a low number, a state where, where a lot of people escaped to Florida in order to get out of states like New York and New Jersey that were experiencing such a tremendous COVID outpour. This is very sad. It's sad because I think a lot of the people who are, not social distancing or going out in the state of Florida are outdoors, right? They're going to the beaches, they're going to the beach clubs, they're going to restaurants and are being seated for the most part outdoors. So again, this will reevaluate the algorithm. This will reevaluate what we know. And I think that that's exactly what makes fighting COVID-19 so incredibly challenging, because we have to keep moving the goalposts in light of information that comes up. So this is perhaps a first surge for Florida, but a second surge for the rest of the world. We're seeing it come up again in states like California. We're seeing it come up in countries again like Iran, all over the world, where they already had their first wave, they thought they flattened the curve, and now they're dealing with a second surge once again.
South America has also been hit pretty hard by the virus, Lisa. Argentina has now exceeded 100,000 cases of the novel coronavirus.
Yeah, and the country is not that big to experience that kind of surge. Latin America, as you said, was slower to get the surge. They were slower to flatten the curve because they got it later. Brazil was very hard hit. Chile was very hard hit. And you have to look at these countries as places that were not able to deal with, in terms of ventilators, in terms of hospital beds. They were ill prepared to deal with the number of patients that were contracting the virus. Again, so many questions, and people are just tired of staying home, tired of living in fear. I want to just pray that this goes away as soon as possible with the least number of tragedies.
Lisa, even here in Canada, I see at a lot of the beaches and the lakes right now, a lot of families are going out and they're just jam-packed. I was at Red Rock Canyon and Waterton Lakes National Park over the weekend as well, and there's a lot of people there, not social distancing, no masks. I think you're right, people are just fed up being cooped up for so long right now. It appears as though Iran has its own issues with the coronavirus pandemic, as more than 20,000 people have died from the virus in the Middle East.
Yes, well, Iran was one of those countries where, the politics interfered with the health of the masses, and the government is being accused of not dealing with the pandemic appropriately, charging families for the deaths of their loved ones if they do die of coronavirus, marking some that died of just even a heart attack, a corona patient, so that they can charge those families extra. So, we don't know what to believe coming out of that country, but what we do know is that the country was very late in dealing with the virus appropriately. And again, they are ill prepared to deal with it. When you are sanctioned and you, make it very difficult to get proper health care, and again, you politicize the health care system in a country, you're going to have a lot of issues when a pandemic like this breaks out. In the Middle East, we saw Israel deal with this as well. They're dealing with a second surge, but their numbers are much lower. Israel dealt with this as an older senior citizen virus and not a young person's virus, so they sent the young people back to work, but now they're dealing again with the second surge. So I think all around the world we're seeing the second surge pop up, and hopefully this time around we're building immunity, what they call herd immunity, and sending people out there to get it again. But Hal, as you said, I think what makes this so mind-boggling is that people are getting it by hanging out outdoors. And that's what we were told, that we could go for walks and we could go to the beach. Here in Southern California, over 4th of July weekend, they even shut down the beaches as to, kind of eliminate the threat of people packing themselves in like sardines on the sand and, getting COVID that way.
It appears as though China and Iran are becoming bedfellows. The Times of Israel is reporting that China may be giving Iran $400 billion to boost its military. Tell me more about that.
This is all we needed, right? The bad guys on the map holding hands and marching forward to spite the rest of the world. Nothing surprises me with this story. We already know that China and Iran are #1 trade partners, because who else is going to shop from either one of them at this time? With the tariffs that were placed on China for many years by the United States, the sanctions that were placed on Iran for many years by the free world, and now you have them both investing in one another, in oil sector, in real estate, and now moving forward, this opportunity is going to be a 25-year deal that allows China to be partners with Iran in places like Syria and Iraq. Awful, awful. Our goal in the West was to get Iran's influence out of the Middle East, in places like Syria and Iraq, in Gaza, in Lebanon, get their influence of terrorism out of the region and prevent them from spreading themselves. Now they're bringing in a partner to help fortify these investments and fortify their assets in the region. This is very bad news for the free world and very good news for the rogue world. And you can add North Korea and Venezuela and Russia to the list of partners with China and Iran.
Some of the media outlets in the United States are saying that Iran is blaming the Ukrainian jetliner being shot down as miscommunication along with a misaligned missile battery?
Yeah, sure, right? Ever since that airplane went down and killed everyone on board, everyone in Iran accuses the government of foul play. And remember, this was just after Qasem Soleimani was taken out by the American forces in Iraq, and the Iranians allegedly took down that plane. It is rumored that there were very important people on that plane that they wanted to take out, and so they killed over 200 innocent people in order to take that plane down. And since then, the international community, many European countries, as well as the United States and the rest of the world, has asked for answers. What happened? We want to see the black box. We want answers. And they have been dragging their feet since January. And now they came out with yet another excuse, saying that this was miscommunications and it was this just happens. No one's buying this, and this is too little too late. No one's expecting an answer from them now, because most people know what the answer to that is. But, I think what the Iranian regime is fearful of is that once COVID is put to rest, people in Iran will be back out onto the streets, and they will protest this and many other egregious blunders by their regime. And they know that it's going to be back to business as usual for the protesters, and they know that they're on to them, so to speak. So they want to do away with this one stain on their record.
Lisa, almost 600,000 people have voted in Hong Kong's pro-democracy primaries in protest against the new security law.
Yeah, no shock there, right? So people in Hong Kong say, get out, China. China 2 weeks ago passed a security bill that will basically allow Big Brother China to be in Hong Kong, and will basically take back Hong Kong as its child, and spy and do whatever it needs to do, its nefarious activities from Hong Kong. And the people of Hong Kong are up in arms. They were already protesting, but now they have significant reason, very much justified, to be out onto the streets, to protest, to vote, to do whatever they can to get China out. Now, will these formal protests and formal votes do anything to rid Hong Kong of the Chinese influence? It doesn't look that way.
Lisa, Australia is offering 10,000 Hong Kong passport holders a chance to apply for residency. Tell me more about that.
Yes, this is yet another way for Australia to stick its finger right in the eye of China once again. There has been this ongoing rift between Australia and China over COVID, over not getting explanations, over the lack of transparency from China, and now that they are overstepping their hand with regards to Hong Kong. Australia has said that whoever is in Australia from Hong Kong can apply to become a citizen as long as they are vetted and they pass that test. They are more than welcome to stay. Of course, China doesn't like this just the same way that the UK made the same offer to the people of Hong Kong. And China doesn't like this. They don't want a brain drain, which is what happens in most cases like this when conditions in a country deteriorate the way that they are and continue to in Hong Kong. The educated, the hardworking, the upper classes of society move out and want a better life. They don't want to live under the tyranny of China. So, this is a great opportunity for those who are already living outside of Hong Kong or hope to leave.
Our foreign affairs expert, Lisa Daftari, joining me once again from Los Angeles. Thank you, Lisa.
My pleasure.
On behalf of all of us here at Bridge City News, I'm Hal Roberts. God bless, and thanks so much for watching.